This video is all about the new stuff happening here in the city of Murrieta, California. If you're thinking about making a move here, I think this is definitely going to be a video that you're going to want to check out. I had the chance to go to a city managers meeting and hear from the Murrieta City Manager, hear about all the cool stuff the city has going on and what their plans are for 2023. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, hey again, my name is Justin Short. I'm a realtor and team leader for the Short Real Estate team here in Temecula, California and Murrieta, California. And like I mentioned, this video is all about the newest stuff happening here in the city of Murrieta. So I had a chance to go to a city managers meeting, with all the city managers from the surrounding cities, and they talked about all the cool stuff going on at the, with their different cities, what their plan is over the next 12 months, all the new happenings. And I thought it was some really good information, so wanted to share it with you guys. So we're going to get into all the info, but the first thing, if you are liking videos like this, please do me a favor, please hit like, please hit subscribe. So obviously, it helps me, it helps the channel. Obviously, we're trying to continue to grow it. And then if you have any real estate questions, I'd love for you guys to reach out to me. So I get people that reach out all the time from watching the videos. So you can feel free to call, text, or email. Happy to answer any questions you may have. If you're thinking about making a move here, of course, I'd love to give you the right information, point you in the right direction, or we can, help you as real estate agents as well. So we'll get into the info. So like I mentioned, went to that city's managers meeting, got to kind of hear all the new stuff that the cities have going on. We're going to kind of chunk it up into some different sections, and really the first part was really just about some stats from the city of Murrieta. So I've lived here for a long time here in the valley, over 20 years. But when you live in a place, like, you're not looking at like the newest, latest, and greatest stats, so you don't always know like how population is changing, how incomes are changing, all that stuff. So I thought it was just a really good point of reference for me as someone that lives here full time, and especially if you don't live here, this is information you're definitely not going to know. So some of the cool stuff they went over is right now the population in the city of Murrieta is actually over 120,000 people, so which is a ton of people. Keep in mind 20 years ago when I lived out here, there was probably like 12,000 people, right? So the area's grown a ton. It's really developed a ton. And then the average household income now in Murrieta is up to $136,000 per year. And that's a huge jump up. Even like the year over year, I think the last stat we ran was like 112, right around there. So it's a huge jump up. I think, across the board, wages are up, right? Obviously inflation, you've probably heard of that last year or so. But it's good to know that the average incomes are up. The average age of a person living within city limits is just 37 years old, so it kind of lends itself to a younger demographic. And actually 48% of the people that live here are under the age of 18, so that means kids, right? So what does that lend to tell you? So it's a lot of families, a lot of younger families that have kids, that are going to school, that are involved in the sports systems. And definitely, I think that's going to be typical for a lot of the different suburbs that are out there, which is definitely is. It's definitely a bedroom community and definitely a suburb here in Southern California. And then the next stat that they went over, which I thought was really the most surprising thing that they had mentioned, is that for the people that live in the city of Murrieta, 60% of the people that live here, their commute is less than 30 minutes. So I thought that was super surprising. If you know anything about the city, it's definitely, it's a bedroom community. Most people live here and they commute out to work, right? A lot more people are working remote, but not a ton of big business here locally, I think is fair to say. I don't think it's really a controversial thing to say, right? Most people commute San Diego, LA, Orange County. But the fact that 60% of people now don't really have much of a commute, less than 30 minutes, I think that's a huge step in the right direction. And I'm sure that was not the case, just 5-6 years ago. They also talked about the number of parks within the city limits, and right now they're actually up to over 53 parks throughout the city, so they're really proud of that. They just opened one more in the downtown area just this last year. I thought it was kind of interesting too. They didn't really refer to it as Old Town Murrieta. She kept referring to it as Downtown Murrieta. So it seems like they're kind of trying to change around the verbiage there. It's always been Old Town Murrieta, but I guess they're trying to have a new kind of branding there. And they did something I did not know is they just opened up, they did an expansion for the public library and for the city of Murrieta. So they put, it's like a $1.5 million grant that they were given. So they expanded the kids section, and they actually do, they now, you can check out seeds. Like if you're into gardening, you can go in there, you can get seeds, plant them, right? Grow, get your crops or your harvest or whatever it is that you're getting, and then the next year you can bring back the seeds and donate them back into the seed library. So I've never heard of that. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so the next kind of section that I want to talk about is just all the stuff that's coming soon to the city of Murrieta. This is probably the stuff that's most pertinent to you guys, wanting to know, what's changing over the next year. And really, the city had a ton going on. So a lot of things to talk about. So they have right now over 5,000 housing units that are in their pipeline. So what that means, those are people that have, the developers that have bought land, and they're somewhere in the permit process, somewhere in the entitlement process, somewhere going through that construction cycle. So 5,000 housing units. I think it's over the next 5 years, but still it's an extra 1,000 spaces to live per year. A good chunk of those are multifamily, so what that would be like apartments, right? But there are several housing developments that are still in development that they're starting to sort through and kind of going through that process as well. So I was pretty surprised for 5,000. The next thing they mentioned, they were talked about the Oakview Ranch, and so really what that is tied into those multifamily housing units that are on its way. So it is the city's first affordable housing project within the city. That's something that the city manager was super proud of. They thought it was a great thing to do to be able to bring in affordable housing. That is located within close to the downtown area, kind of where that location is. And when they're building that, there's going to be a Boys and Girls Club on site. So that's going to be able to be accessed by anyone within the city, right? So obviously a lot of different activities and a lot of positive stuff that comes from that too. So they're pretty excited there. And something I did not know, but the city of Murrieta actually just added and bought 1,000 acres to add to within city limits. So they just annexed in 1,000 acres. It's more if you look at a map, it's kind of in the north portion of the city. They're planning to add over 522 homes, as well as commercial space, and actually 600 acres of nature paths and preserves out that way. So that's a ton of space that they added in. I was surprised to hear that. I knew there was a housing development going to go in there at some point, but the fact that it's actually annexed in, going to be part of the city, I think is a pretty cool thing and something good to know. All right, so the next section that they talked about was all about medical and innovation. And really, when they were talking, the city really mentioned that their vision and really the goal they're trying to work towards is to have Murrieta be the medical hub of the valley. So what that means is they want the hospitals to continue to grow, they want the quality of doctors to continue to grow, they want the medical centers to continue to grow and expand and add buildings, etc. And so that's something they're really trying to incentivize. One of the ways that they're doing that is with the Murrieta Innovation Center. So the Murrieta Innovation Center, it's here in Murrieta. It's existed for a couple years, and they just got a big grant. It's a $3 million grant. They're going to use that money to build and upgrade the wet labs and dry labs that are there. And so what they basically, it's kind of like a hotbed where companies can go in, use their technology, kind of use the labs, use the building. They just got their first international tenants that are coming from the Netherlands. So they were pretty excited about that. Kind of felt like, hey, it's continuing to grow. It's kind of a sign that things are expanding. So that's something they're continuing to try and put more money into and really trying to grow. And there's a lot of medical building growth going on right now. So actually at Rancho Springs, which is one of the hospitals here in Murrieta, they're moving forward with a 36,000 square foot expansion of the hospital there. And they're actually partnering with Rady's Children's Hospital. So Rady's is a big children's hospital here in Southern California. They do have a branch here in Murrieta, so they're continuing to grow that. And there's an expansion. There's also an expansion happening for the Kaiser Hospital. So it's what they're considering the phase 2. So there's going to be an ambulance center, a surgical center, and it's going to be open for outpatient surgery with Kaiser. So that's something that's new. That's kind of in the north part of the city. And then the Loma Linda Hospital, which is kind of in that same area, they're doing an $18 million expansion. So I assume that means a new medical building going there. They have a pretty big compound there. That's part of Loma Linda, but they're continuing to try to have that grow. And then they have the McKenna Medical Center, which is right near that Loma Linda Hospital, and that's going to be the first nursing school here in the area. So that's something I believe they were hoping to try and have that opened this year, or if not sometime next year, but it's something that is being constructed, being built, and they felt like that's going to be a really good thing for the medical industry to be able to have the nurses here locally that kind of can move on over into all the different hospitals and medical buildings in the area. And the Murrieta Health and Innovation Building is another new building, and that's like this huge monster 82,000 square foot building that they are building as well. So a lot of stuff on the medical side of things. All right, and then the next thing they talked about was about shopping centers. So they have new stuff that they're building, new stuff that they're continuing to upgrade. So the main thing that they talked about that's happened over the last 12 months was about the Vineyard Shopping Center. So that's kind of in the north section of Murrieta, kind of off Clinton Keith, and that's where the Costco is. So there's a Costco in Murrieta that opened up last year. That was a pretty big deal if you live here in the city. Before that, there was really only one here in Temecula, and that place is a zoo because so many people were going there. So everyone was really excited to have the second Costco. That's got a bunch of gas stations. It just takes a lot of pressure off the other one, and obviously it's a big shopping store that a lot of people use. So, but when they put that Costco in, they did like a whole retail center, right? So that's called the Vineyard. So there's all types of businesses. Pretty much everything is now open there. I think there's one or two that are still in the process of finishing up some construction, but there's car washes and gas stations and restaurants and Starbucks, of course, and all that type of stuff. So it's now up and running. And then there is a new, the Murrieta Marketplace, which is at the merger of Clinton Keith and Winchester Road. So if you look on a map, it's kind of more in the northeast section of the city. And so that's a new shopping center that's going in. They have some new construction housing that's finishing up there as well. And so it's a new shopping center that's really, that's all new. I mean, I actually grew up out there in kind of the Winchester area, and there was nothing, it was all dirt for a long time. So it's nice to have some shopping center that closer, especially with all the new homes that are going in. They also have some new developments going in with the Triangle, so which they're continuing to try and develop, which is basically between the 15 and 215 freeways. So they have some shopping center stuff that they're trying to plan on there. I know in the past, people were trying to have some like high-end restaurants in there as well. So not sure if they were kind of vague, not sure if that's quite going to happen. And then one of the things they were really excited about and actually showed a cool little video was about the Murrieta Hot Springs Resort. So this is a new thing for the area. So there was if you look at a map, so Murrieta Hot Springs is a main road in town. It goes east and west, really connects Murrieta and Temecula. And right off of that road, there in the past has been a college there. There was a Bible college that was there right on Murrieta Hot Springs. That Bible college sold this last year to a developer. So the college is no longer. The developer now owns that, and their plan is to take that building and turn it into a hot springs resort. So they're revamping it. They're reusing. There's some dorms that they're going to redo as more of like a hotels type space. It's supposed to be super nice. They have some different videos and stuff online that you can pull on it. But there's day spa. There's mineral bath. The city looked at it where it's a $50 million impact on the city. So as far as revenue and tax dollars coming in over the next 5 years. So they're obviously really excited about it, and they're talking it up as much as possible. And the developer, it looks like they're putting a ton of money into the place and really revamping it. So it's really like nothing like, we haven't ever really had anything like that close by. And they're hoping it's really going to become more of a destination and be able to pull in a lot of people from out in wine country in Temecula or Old Town in Temecula, or anyone passing through to be able to go and use the resort. So kind of a cool thing. It's a little bit new, definitely not something you would have thought of years ago for sure. And basically, they just gave a little teaser. There's a lot more to come. So over the next year, I think they're hoping to announce a lot of new stuff. So that's new car dealerships coming to Murrieta. They're hoping to have new restaurants in downtown Murrieta as well. So there's the downtown verbiage that they're hoping to be able to talk about. And they're going to have a new entertainment venue. So they're kind of vague, but we'll see what ends up coming up there. And really for them, as they're talking about all these different things that are happening at the city level, they're hoping to, they really don't want to change how the city is actually ran. They just hope to upgrade the actual quality of life for the people that live here. So they talked about the 53rd park that they just opened down in downtown Murrieta. They talked about all the cool rec programs that are in the area. So that's all the different sports activities, some through the schools, some private, but there's just a ton to choose from if you have kids. They actually installed 8 new playgrounds this last year, so not building new parks, but just kind of redoing them and redoing the play centers and stuff for the kids. They did that expansion on the library, and they're really trying to get that downtown area up and really start to thrive more. So they're sponsoring different events, they're doing all types of different stuff, trying to encourage growth and have that be more of a destination. All right, and the next section they talked about was really just all about public safety. So the city was really proud to say that they are the only city in the valley that has their own full-service fire department and full-service police station. So most of the other cities, use some of the county resources, or they use like Cal Fire or the sheriffs, which are part of the county, right? But Murrieta is actually proud that they have their own, so police station and fire department. They just launched 2 new medic squads, with the Murrieta Fire Department. So they're pretty excited about that. And they just got a new truck. It was a 100-foot tiller truck. So with those new buildings coming in, we talked about like the apartments or the multifamily stuff. They need a big truck to be able to get up there. So they were happy to be able to buy that and be prepared. And the police have been doing some cool stuff too. So they just upgraded new flock cameras. So basically, when you're driving around town, they can use technology in the cameras to look at license plates, to look for like Amber Alerts or stolen vehicles or any of that type of stuff. They put a new communication towers in. And they have some new 911 tech that they're starting to implement, which is supposed to make it easier you're supposed to be able for you as a civilian to be able to share photos and videos with the dispatcher. So to more quickly be able to share information. I don't know if it's tech or if it's text or how exactly that's sent, but it's supposed to be something they're trying to roll out this year, which is kind of cool. And then the last thing that they talked about was the new infrastructure. So the big one is they're doing a road expansion on Murrieta Hot Springs. So like we talked about, Murrieta Hot Springs is a main road that runs east and west in town. It gets really jammed up with a lot of traffic, especially during rush hour. And so there's a new shopping center going in. They are expanding that road, adding an extra lane, adding an extra turnout lane. So that's going to be a really good thing. I think everyone's actually super excited. I saw the other day they're doing construction on that right now. So hopefully that will help soon, because we can use all the traffic help that we can get. And then they're doing some water improvements to what they're calling the Madison corridor. So basically it's on like the west side of town, close to the border of Temecula. They're installing the water lines in there that'll make that area more desirable, more likely to be developed and really expanded upon. So hopefully some of those details and stuff didn't really lose you guys in the weeds too much, but I thought it was a pretty good meeting. I thought it was interesting information for me, especially as a realtor. If you're thinking about making a move here, I think you want to know kind of what's going on with the city and what their plans are moving forward. I think it's good to know that they have plans. They have plans of action, things they're trying to execute on, and they're trying to continue to make the area better and always having these different improvements. So hopefully it's good info for you guys. You can feel free, you can call, text, you can email me if you have any questions. And again, please hopefully like and subscribe, and talk to you soon. Thanks.